Hello and welcome to OCR for IMINT. I hope you're having a good day so far. I'm wearing my lucky Hulk Hogan shirt, so may the powers of the OCINT mania run wild on you, brother. But with that being said, let's just dive right into the topic to keep it under 15 minutes for today. We're going to start out with two quick definitions. IMINT, that's short for image intelligence. That is basically how we are going to derive intelligence from something that's a visual media source. That would be like an image or a video. The other, optical character recognition, OCR, that's leveraging technologies to ascertain text from non-text formats. So if you take a bunch of screenshots, for example, we can use OCR to get that into a text format. That also works for PDFs, and it also works for some videos. Why is this important to us? Why OCR? Because sometimes we're working in bulk. Sometimes we're dealing with tens, if not hundreds, or even thousands of images. And we don't have the time, the resources, or the bandwidth to sit and manually hand jam every single thing we see. So we use OCR. In some cases, we use that in the context of code. Sometimes we can just upload things to the internet. It's not always practical to manually translate things. With some things, if it's like a short cryptocurrency address, sure, if you're doing one. As the old adage goes, if you do it once, you do it. If you do it twice, you script it. If you do it 3 times, you automate it. Sometimes we deal with things that's not in a language that we understand or have any means of technical support with. We may not be able to reach out to a linguist on our team and say, hey, what does this say in Russian? Can you type this out? We may just need to do it. There are some drawbacks, though. It's not always 100% accurate. It's going to be based on translation. It's going to be based on the quality of the image and the quality of the engine. Sometimes the language we are trying to work with is not supported. And then sometimes we have to have technical expertise to use something like Tesseract, which is how we would accomplish this in Linux or within Python. But sometimes we also have those offset concerns in uploading things online, like what I showed you a few days ago regarding getting metadata and the offset concerns associated with that. If you have to upload the file, then that creates a problem. So as usual, here's the non-exhaustive list of OCR websites. These are free to use. You can use APIs with them as well, which in some cases does require a subscription, but this is how we would go about working with it. And I've got each of these pulled up on the other screen, but I also have some images for us to take a look at. So we're going to look at this one. This one's obviously in English. We can read it and work from there. We have one in Korean, but we're going to skip it. And we're going to go to the one in Russian right here. And we are going to translate it into a text format, as well as do a little bit of language translation as well. And then here's one with a cryptocurrency and an onion address. So let's just dive right into this, and let me get this moved over. So here are the websites. This is OCR Space, and I'm just going to work with the one in English first. I'm just going to drag and drop this image right here. You can also paste a URL there as well. We set the language as English. We have all of these others to operate off of, such as Arabic, Chinese, Danish, Dutch, Korean, Russian, Turkish, Swedish, etc. And then we can say which OCR image do we want to use, okay? And then we just say start OCR. And then we can sit here and compare this side by side. And what we can tell here is this specifically respected the page breaks, or I'm sorry, the line breaks. we are able to see everything broken down line by line by line. It's not aware enough to know that this is just a coherent paragraph, but that's an example of doing so in English. Here's another one. The thing about this one is you have to tell it to dump out in another format. So we'll do this again, and we're going to tell it in a text format. And right here, this actually puts it in paragraph format. So that's pretty nice. And we can download the file if we would like as well. Moving over to this one as well, we do the same thing. Preview, and then we can also adjust the language here. So in this one, we have Afrikaans, we have Belarusian, Bengali, Tibetan, Bosnian, Danish, German, Persian, and several others, even Tagalog and Thai. So we just say OCR and it works. Then we go down here and this has everything. It also respects the line breaks. So there we have it. And then here's the last one. We can choose English or any other language as well. They have some of the others, like here's the Uyghur. We could do it either in Cyrillic or Latin. Same thing with like Serbian. With Portuguese, we've got Portuguese Brazilian dialect and Portuguese. But anyway, we'll say English. And then with this one, we have all the output formats as well. I'm not going to work through on this one just because it does require you to download the file. So I'm going to go ahead and close it. So now we're going to work off of the Russian file. This one. If anyone streaming or viewing reads Russian, feel free to chime in chat or in the comments with what it's saying. But what we're going to do here, so we're going to upload a new file. I'm going to start everything all over again here. We're going to choose the file. For the language, we know it's Russian. And in some cases, like in the case of Russian being a Cyrillic language, and we can say, okay, well, we know this is Cyrillic. Even if it's not, even if you're not correct whenever you put that in, like say, for example, it's Ukrainian instead of Russian, you still might be able to get close enough to understand what it's trying to convey so that you can get some bearing of what's going on. And then you can start tinkering with the various languages to try to determine what is really going on here. The same thing would exist for, say, Arabic when you're talking about Pashto, Urdu, Farsi, or Arabic. So we've done the OCR here, and now we have this in Russian right here. Notice we have a Google Translate button right here that we can just go with that works. And then we have the same thing here. And then right here, we have the results as well, but only one has the Google Translate button. So we're going to hit Google Translate. I'm not going to talk a lot about the translation perspective because we'll be talking about that later this week. But right here, we can see this is talking about living in the city center. It's very convenient. Everything is close to us. Shops, restaurants, and cafe nearby. Pharmacy and post office nearby. Bus stop and metro is very close to the house. Even the cinema is nearby. They walk everywhere. Everything is so close. If you live nearby, come visit. So that's ultimately what this is talking about. And with OCR, sometimes you have to work with the images. Sometimes you have to clean them up a little bit so that they are cleaner and easier to recognize. But this is a very powerful technique that you can very easily use whenever you're doing an investigation or a capture the flag type event and you see something in the background in another language behind someone in an image. Instead of trying to guess the language and try to guess the characters when there could be subtle nuances, especially when you're talking about the diacritical marks used within the Arabic language, that's an instance where you may run into a situation where having the ability to run it through an OCR engine is very powerful. Know that with these 4 websites that I shared with you, there are potential offset concerns in uploading any material to them because they could store it and they could be logging information about you. With that being said, that's all I've got for the primary part of today. I did create a couple of surveys to disseminate to everyone. The first is the stream questions survey. So if you have something you would like to see covered within the streams, please fill out that survey and let me know. Also, I created another one, the stream survey, that is to determine what the best tempo would be. So feel free to take the time and do those surveys and let me know. As well, with that, we talked briefly about the AMA yesterday. If you want to submit questions for next week's AMA with Trace Labs folks, right there's the link to that as well. So all at the ocent.mobi redirected domain stream-survey for the survey dealing with frequency and periodicity, stream-questions to suggest topics or submit questions, submit-AMA-questions to submit questions for the AMA next week. With that AMA, it's going to include Beluv, which is a co-director of Trace Labs, Levy, who is a Trace Labs staffer and a dark web magician, Elise Dennis, a multiple-time social engineering and OCENT black badge, as well as myself. That's going to be February 8th from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern time. That will be on the Twitch stream at ocent.mobi/Twitch. The webinar will occur the next day. That will be with Monica Camacho. We'll be talking about finding reference sources for geolocation when Google Maps doesn't cut it. You can register for that at ocent.mobi/February webinar. That does have a $10 fee because we're not doing the sponsor route. If we do get a sponsor for a webinar, the webinar will be at no cost to attendees. If you'd like to contact me, I'm at C_3PJoe on Twitter, as well as many other platforms such as Discord. The Ascension is at The Ascension. There are the links to mine and The Ascension's LinkedIn and other platforms. If you are interested in training, you can sign up for live courses at theascension.com/courses. On-demand courses are on the Academy, which is academy.theascension.com. If you're watching us on Twitch, you know that the URL is twitch.tv/theascension. If you are watching on YouTube, you know the URL is youtube.com/@theascension9198. If you're interested in joining the Discord community, you can do so at ocent.mobi/Discord. Again, that's all I've got for today. This is kind of a preparatory thing for tomorrow, so it'll be a little bit more interesting tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day, and I will see you then. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications.